Hello YouTube and welcome to Go Girl Gaming's coverage of the game Arche. On this channel I will be covering housing, farming, crafting, auction house use, and trading. For this video I will be doing two things. One, I want to talk briefly about trading, and then I'm going to do some aqua farming to give you guys a taste of aqua farming. But the first thing I want to talk about, because I haven't reached the aqua farm set yet, where it is trading. I read in the forums during alpha, it was either forums or a Arche, as in the developer, a developer specific article, that stated that the way the PvP zones were supposed to operate was that they were going to be on a cycle, and every so many hours they would go from conflict level 1 to conflict level 4, and then they would go into war, and then after the war there would be a peace period of so many hours. The way you could influence how long the conflict time lasted was by PvPing in those zones. That did not happen in alpha. There were zones that stayed perpetually in a conflicted state. So a lot of us questioned whether or not that was going to be the case, and it was also why a lot of people were very upset about having to be forced to be in a PvP zone for farming, because there were certain areas that were constantly in a state of PvP. And who the heck wants to be farming and looking over their shoulder? Nobody. Well, since Go Live, it looks like they did indeed implement what they said they were going to implement in alpha, and just for whatever reason didn't. The PvP zones on both sides have been cycling well. Every time I've gotten on, a PvP zone has been cycling through from conflict level 1 to conflict level 4, and then having a period of peacetime. It may take the entire day, but I've definitely seen it happen, and I'm very happy about that. The reason I bring it up is because that affects trading. There are trade pack runs that you can run from every area and into a lot of the PvP areas, and I'll show you before I take a dive for aqua farming so that I can focus and don't drown. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, Halconia is different. It always did cycle in a certain way because they have the Battle of the Plains, Battle of the Golden Plains in that zone. So that has always been a standout different. It regularly cycles even very quickly between conflict, war, and then peace period. It also has a longer peace period than any of the other PvP zones I've seen. Halconia has almost a 4-hour peace period, whereas when any of these other areas go into peace, and that includes on the Harani side, when any of these areas go into peace, it's basically for 2 hours. That being said, I have seen all of these since launch go from cycle through the different, they're all in level 1 now, but except for, what was that, Hasla, which is in level 2. I've seen all of these cycle through and go into war, and then have the 2 hours of peace, and then same thing on this side. Again, what does that have to do with any of the areas I cover? Trading. Whether you are planning on going from or to one side or the other, or whether you're going to do same side trading. These areas coming into peacetime enables you, and you will see people do it. If you play the game, you will readily see people. As soon as, for example, Hell Swamp goes out of PvP, you will see a swarm of people headed over to the specialty crafting bench, crafting, and either walking down to the water so they can, go to the other side or take their boats around, or like I've been doing, taking my donkey and walking through, because where the crafting bench is over here. in Hexmeyer, and as you can see, it's not that far from Halconia. So if Halconia is in peace at the time, you can easily get from Hell Swamp to Halconia, and then make your way over to the farthest points, either Solaris or Gwynedd or even Lilith Hills, and make a pretty penny if you're same side. If you are opposite side, obviously it's just pretty much a straight shot, barring pirates and gankers, to the Osteria Gold Trader, which is right there on the coast there. So if I pull the map back up, you see this line here. This is where Hell Swamp is, and there is access to the water. Same thing with Sands Deep, and they also have a trader. So if you're going back and forth this way or back and forth the other way from Osteria or to Osteria from Sand Deep or Hell Swamp, that is pretty much a straight shot, barring other players and jellyfish and all that kind of stuff. So wanted to point that out, that is now working and people are taking advantage of it. So if you are new to the game, or if you saw that it wasn't cycling well in Halconia, or I'm sorry, it was not cycling well during Alpha, know that now that it is. I have done several trade runs to and from Hell Swamp, Sand Deep. I've not done Cindermore, not because it wasn't available, but because I didn't have the mats. And I have not done Karsic Ridge. I just haven't done it. There is no reason, I just haven't done it. So there you go. So the second part of this video is aqua farming. And as you can see here, there are a lot of people. I hope you can see this. There are aqua farms everywhere. Where you see all these glowing little boxes, those are aqua farms. So as far as the eye can see, people are aqua farming, and they're aqua farming different things. Mostly what you'll see, of course, is red coral, because red coral is utilized a lot, but you'll also see some blue coral. I'm going to do a video later. That's some, I think that's antler coral. No, that's orange plate coral. You'll see the pearls, the oyster pearls. Those are used when you harvest them. You get pearls, and those are used for crafting. And there's the other thing that I actually want to do. And I better hurry up and swim down here because I'm running out of breath. But what I am heading towards are the fishing traps, because you can catch fish in those and basically do some absentee fishing. They are available as far as whether or not you've caught a fish every half hour, if you want to be that persistent about it. Check your traps every half hour. The traps can become damaged, and they can also be destroyed if you have a fish that is one heck of a fighter. So bear that in mind, but that's definitely something I want to do and am going to do, and I will do a video on it when I do it. This is not myself or my guildmate. This is somebody else that has done the bamboo trap. And as you can see, this one says shaking bamboo trap. That means something's in it. Rattling bamboo trap, that's something in it. So they got something going on in these. So definitely want to have one of those for myself and explore that. And then as you can see, this person also has a variety of different aqua farm items besides the bamboo fish traps. They have some white coral, some blue coral, the oyster, large pearl oyster, and things like that. So I'm glad this was nearby. But again, that's neither myself nor my guildmates. We have been busy doing other things, leveling being among them, and doing a lot of, like, one of my guildmates is leveling husbandry, I'm leveling gathering and farming, and we have others doing different things for trade runs and auction house use and da-da-da-da-da. So everybody is doing their thing. And this is ours, actually. This is red coral that I planted for myself and for a guildmate. So since I'm here, I'm going to harvest it. I also picked up some of the large pearl oysters. So as you can see here, I have acquired, if you're looking to my left hand side here, where I have the stats up, my gathering proficiency, because it does affect your gathering, so this helps me level as well. I have acquired some vocational badges, and of course I have acquired materials. So one thing you always have to keep an eye on is how much breath you have remaining. You can always, choose to go longer without taking a breath. So this is, in a nutshell, aqua farming. Most of the items, I planted these a couple days ago. They don't take 2 days for the most part, but they do take, everything that I've seen so far in aqua farming takes a minimum of 8 hours. So aqua farming is not a quick, fast, quick, with the exception of the fish traps. Those are supposed to be harvestable every half hour, assuming it didn't get destroyed or damaged or whatever. So we are gathering some oysters, and we are gathering the red coral. And then I am going to also plant some pearls and some red coral, and I will show you that. And yes, this is one of my guild mates who decided to put an owl. We don't know how the owl is breathing, we just know that he is. So yes, you can, if you were wondering, you can put stuff on your aqua farm right on top of it. You can put the owl mailbox, as you can see there. You can, it makes it a little difficult to actually use the breather, but you can also put, I've seen people put like flags on it, and one person had like a, I don't want to call it a billboard because it wasn't that big, but they did have like a billboard up against theirs with something on it. So there are things that you can do. You can also put down, if you're so inclined, the fencing to indicate where your borders are, or for decoration. So you can express your individuality a little bit also while you are aqua farming, or for your aqua farm. So as you can see, I have gathered 25 red coral and 10 pearls, and now I am just going to plant some red coral. Take a breath. And again, go back. Yeah, we're having some issues today with the game. I don't know what the deal is, but we are having some issues. And then as you can see, 8 hours, like I said. I'm also going to plant a couple replacement of the pearl oysters. Then show you, see, 23 hours on those. So this is not a plant it and I'll be back in an hour type of thing. This is a plant it and go do some other stuff for a good long while type of thing. So I'm actually kind of glad about that, because you do get busy with other things, and I'm of course more busy with the land related stuff. It's a little, it can be a little stressful if you actually need something, but then that's why you craft things. I always make it a habit to craft things before I need them, but sometimes if you don't know what you need, you can't do that. But long story short, aqua farm items take a bit as far as time goes to mature. And then I'll go back over to the neighbor here and show you some of the stuff that he has planted. And I don't know if it'll show me the time left on it though, because it's not mine. A lot of times I won't show you that because it's not yours. Oh, it does on this one. So this one, but I don't know when he planted it. This one still has 2 hours left on it. These are all ready to go. 2 hours, ready to go. I'm trying to see. This one is 11 hours on it, so that gives you an idea. This is a small white coral, so he has 11 hours left, no matter when he planted, so that's not a short-term thing. Let's see if we can get an eyeball. Nope, not on the blue plate. That's more red. 12 hours on the small blue coral. I'm trying to see if we can see any antler. Yellow plate coral, 7 hours left on that one. So Yeah, it's an investment. It's a time investment as far as aqua farming goes. Oh, and here's some. Oh, it's already ready to go. That's the antler coral. I was hoping it might have a timer on it to give you guys an idea of how long it takes. Because the times that they specify sometimes when you actually buy it is not necessarily how long it takes. It's approximate. So I've had some things, for example, I've had trees to say 14 hours, and like clockwork, they mature in 12. So, there you have it. So that is all I wanted to show you with regard to aqua farming. As you can see, this can take a bit. So I'm going to continue harvesting and putting these in our shared storage and all that wonderful stuff. Please like and subscribe. Feel free to ask a question. Feel free to tell a friend or someone that's interested in Arche. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.